Welcome back to episode 10 of the Romans podcast. We finally hit our 10th episode. I guess you could call it our decade episode. And first of all, we want to welcome back, I guess, a key member, a key co-host who has been gone for a long time. Welcome back, Joe.
Oh, you're too kind. It's wonderful to be back. I've missed it all and can't wait to get going again.
Yeah, and obviously your first Bath City game of 2026. How good was it to be there to witness Bath City beat the league leaders Worthing?
It was absolutely wonderful. I mean, I've missed being down at Twerton Park, but to come back to that, it really was the best possible welcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely unpredictable as well. It's just what National League South football is all about. Like, I think everybody in the bar before the game was like, Bath stand no chance today. We're kind of just here for a nice day out. But, you know, a few minutes into the game, we win a penalty, we get a second goal, and suddenly, you know, it's different feel around the ground, you know?
Absolutely anything can happen in any National League South game, and that's the beauty of it, really. But to go and beat the league leaders, not anymore, thanks to us.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's also key to mention just here right now, because even though this is going to be aired on the Thursday, of course, we are actually filming this on Monday, so this will be before our home game against Slough on the Tuesday night. Reason for this is it's just I'm going away soon and it's the only time I could do. So if anyone in the comments is like, why didn't you talk about the Slough game? That's the reason. This is basically a couple of days after Worthing, so we wanted to mostly focus on that fantastic performance, probably one of our greatest all-time performances under Darren Way, I think.
I think that would be right. I mean, he's not been here for very long, but this is probably a highlight.
Just a bit over a year now, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's been like building what you said. It was an immense performance from both how Darren coached the game and how the players play. I saw a completely different side to the Bath boys when they were going on and playing. And again, and as you said before, and even before in the bar, everyone thought, well, I don't think we're going to win this one. It was our first game away at the season, Worthing away, and that's my most prized memory, one of my most prized memories of the season, for complicated reasons. But anyways, and we were all thinking, okay, well, this is going to be tough, you know. Maybe, well, let's hope we can get a couple in. We got Will, he's back on. You know, let's see if he can get a goal or whatever. And then we went out, and I just saw a completely different side of Bath. I saw first of all they win a pen, they score it, and then boom, and then Bowman he gets a goal in, amazing, and then Will Fisher assists, and then it just scores, and I was like, this is insane. I saw a new Bath team, and it was such a great night. It was such a great afternoon, evening, really fun. And we were standing behind where like the dugout where Darren was assisting, and it's a completely different game. It's a completely different game because every time that we're in the Bath, especially you boys, we're standing in front of where it says Bath City, and we're all starting the chants and we're being loud and everything. And when you're standing behind where Darren is, it's just a completely different game. You can just hear it. You can just, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just completely different.
Different kind of atmosphere. And I think there was a lot of Worthing fans who were sort of, I guess, making excuses that they had a lot of injuries in their side, like defensive-wise. But you look at the lineup we put out there, we didn't even have a recognised number 9 in the squad. We were putting a centre mid. Will Jenkins-Davies was our number 9.
3 goals scored for a team that, you know, don't score a ridiculous amount of gols.
And didn't have a striker
and we
in
didn't
the team.
Didn't have Windsor.
I mean, obviously Fisher came off the bench and assisted, and he's obviously like a striker. But for a good majority of that game, we were creating a lot of chances without a striker. I think genuinely that might not be the last game we see Will Jenkins-Davies playing that number 9 position, because I think he is probably, besides Owen Windsor, our best poacher in those areas.
Well, he can finish, can't he?
Yeah.
And he was making some very good runs, and he has that sort of poacher's instinct, I think.
Exactly. I mean, and we've been missing Will for so long. I mean, again, like when you've seen games, and again, no disrespect to any of the players of the team, but it's always been missing that opportunity to create something and to finish the chance. And then when Will comes on, when you see Will and just how brilliant he is on the field, and again, I don't think this will be, because we've seen his finishing ability and what he can do. He is such a crucial player for us. So seeing him not only just get the penalty and then get that goal that I didn't even think he was going to make, and he makes it, I just think we're going to see a lot more of him, and I hope we do.
Yes.
I hope we
hopefully no more injury.
No.
Yeah. Keeping hold of him is a big one, but I think that's the thing a lot of people are a bit worried about, is the fact that because he's performing so well for us and he's scoring all these goals, he might get recognised by, I don't know, a National League side, probably not quite Football League side level yet, but like a National League side, or maybe a sort of more promotion pushing National League South side, like whether Torquay might want to take him back or whatever. But I think while it's a very real worry to have, you got to remember that when Bath signed Tom Smith at first. Obviously, they were in a lot better form, but Tom Smith was also signed from, I think it was Swindon. Was it Swindon? And, he came in, took him a couple years to get adapted, but when he was performing really well, everyone was like, what if he goes? What if he goes? But Tom Smith brought such a good connection to the club and had so much passion with the club that he wanted to stay a few more seasons. And while it's not like 100% apparent in Will Jenkins-Davies yet, you can see how much Jenkins-Davies is actually enjoying himself. It's not like he's scoring all these goals and he's looking miserable because he's in a side that's towards the bottom. He's scoring all these goals and he's happy to be here, and he's happy to interact with the fans. He's happy with his teammates as far as it looks, at least. And I think so long as he's satisfied at the club, and it's also good that he's at this club because it's an area for him to show himself. Like at Torquay, obviously he was a great player, but he was surrounded by so many other good players too that he kind of maybe wasn't recognised as much as he would be at Bath. So I think if he did want to build his career back up, staying at Bath might actually be the best move for him, because the way he's playing and the way he's shining at the moment is how you get your way back into the big leagues.
Yeah, potentially for another season or so. And I certainly hope that that's the route which he decides to take. But you never know. He is performing well. He is young. And if someone big, especially in a higher league, comes calling, it's probably going to be hard to resist.
Well, you see, I'm not too worried about if another National League South team comes in, even if it's Torquay or even if it's Worthing or one of the sides at the top, because I feel like that's still at the same level of the league. I don't think he'd leave Bath to go to a team that is performing better in the same league. I think the only real worry here is if he leaves Bath to go to National League or pushing it League 2. Probably, as I said, probably not quite League 2 standard yet. He's certainly getting there. He's still young. But National League teams, obviously, especially towards their end of the season, fight a lot of teams pushing for promotion and trying to survive relegation in the league above. Could always come in with more money. But obviously, it's a difficult topic to discuss because we all want him to stay. He's by all means, he's become a fan favourite. But it is also a very real thing to discuss as well, because the way he's performing at the moment and the way he's standing out in this team, it does pose a bit of a worry that a sort of bigger club, I guess, will keep an eye on him.
Yeah, but I mean, even if he did leave, there's a lot of turnover at this sort of level in the footballing pyramid. Every season we lose a lot of players, we gain players.
Yeah, and you got to remember he's a relatively new signing as well. It's it's not like he was. Obviously Putman is another excellent name we got to mention. We'll get onto his performance a little bit later. Like fantastic, the lad on loan from QPR. But I mean, you look at all these players we brought in on loan, like Tabor, Putman, Ruben Shepherd's another one. Obviously, they're just like temporary loans, and they're obviously going to go at some point and probably won't extend and will probably go somewhere else. But Jenkins-Davies was our only real. I mean, obviously we got Ash and Beardmore on a permanent, but they were obviously from loans. Jenkins-Davies was our only real permanent signing under Darren in the summer window, and it's always a lot different when it's a permanent signing because it means that he's on a contract basically. So if he was to go to another club while he's on contract, I'm not 100% sure if it's how it works in this league, but if he's still on a contract with us, I don't know, January or summertime, I don't know if it was a 1 year or a 2 year or whatever, it would mean that they would have to give us a bit of money for him. And that would at least bring in the income if we did have to find a replacement to, buy another player. But as we said, hopefully it doesn't come to that.
No, exactly. No, but I mean, and before we it drifts off and we forget about it, I do just want to talk about again, Jaden Putman debut. QPR defender. I mean, he outshot. Man of the match before he got man of the match, but he really did deserve it. I noticed the whole time when we were watching it, he was giving number 25 Ramiro Moulton a really big problem. 25. He was always on the wing, and Putman was always there, causing him a problem. And it was I just saw something that we really needed because when we had defence. We have had troubles in the defence before, and then when you see Putman working how he did there on the back line, I thought absolutely stupendous.
It was defending and also going forward. He was playing some great balls down the line. He was running up and down for the whole game.
Yeah,
he was somehow, he's not the tallest fellow in the world,
no,
but he was winning his headers.
He was a problem. Worthing didn't know what to do with him. He was a problem, and I saw that, and I thought it was really refreshing. But and again, it is a shame that he's only going to be with us for how long have we got him for?
Well, a month. I think it was originally a month. It got extended to another month because he didn't really get to play a lot in the first month we had, because I think we only had like 2 or 3 games. I think it was like Maidstone, Dorking and Salisbury in his first loan. But I think he's here until middle of February, so we probably got him for a couple more games. That's from what I heard from him anyway. But it does really make you think. Obviously, Antoine Semenyo has recently made a big move to Manchester City, and obviously it's quite a stretch, and it does probably put a lot of pressure on the young lad making this claim so early. But you think about it, a player comes in to Bath City from loan from the EFL Championship, performs really well at Bath City, goes back. It's sort of like, could he be on his way? Obviously, it's a big stretch at this point, but the way he's performing at the moment and the way that he can, he's still young and he's got a lot of time to develop. Could he be the next big thing that went on loan to Bath and now becomes a sort of more higher league player in the future?
You're quite the optimist, Oscars. You see someone have one good game and then the next.
I think one good game. Have you even watched? Watched all the games he's played? He has performed in every single game he's played for us. It wasn't just that one good game that he had at Worthing. He performed in Southend. He was our man of the match there. I think he was our man of the match away at Dover as well. I mean, there wasn't really much to choose from at Dover. I think the team would have been disappointed with how they played on that. But if I had to choose one, it probably would have been Putman. Worthing as well. Like, I think that, I mean, just for that ball for the last goal was like, in any league, that's an amazing ball, because you see that ball he plays over the top to Fisher for the last goal, it stops right before the byline, right before it'd go out for a goal kick. And in any league, that's an amazing pass, not just in the National League South. So he's got the quality, and obviously we don't want to put the pressure on him. But if there was any player that I had to choose in that team who might have a potential to make it big like Semenyo, it would be him at this point.
I'd agree. I mean, absolutely. I mean, again, and what I said, it was just absolutely so. Like you said, he was not just doing his job as defending; he was attacking. I saw after time he was up in the attacking half, and I just thought, what's he doing? Like, oh my god, oh, he's got it. Oh my god, he's still got the ball. I was in absolute shock, and I was with my dad, and my dad doesn't really come up to Bath games as often, but he was free today, and I went, "You want to come to the Bath?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, let's go do it." And then he saw Putman, and he was all, "What's his name? Yeah, Putman. Oh, he's solid. Where's he from?" I'm like, "Well, he's pretty good." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I mean, if you're considering getting a player on a permanent deal, I think you should get him in." And then we were both bewildered. But you said
not a chance. We'll get him on a permanent.
Not a chance. But I mean, if we could, that'd be great. He's not dropping that leagues to go. But at the same, you can dream.
Well, you see, Tabor, I think, was excellent when Tabor was on loan for us for a month. But even then, when Tabor was on loan from us for a month, and this is out of complete respect because he's still an excellent player, I still couldn't really see just about Football League level quality in him when he came down, because obviously he was on loan from Swindon. I still think he needed a little bit more time in the National League South, and I was actually really surprised and shocked that we still haven't got him back in the National League South, because I've seen how he's been performing at Swindon. He's come off the bench for most games and played like 10 minutes per game and not really had anything to do in those games. So I was a bit confused why Swindon didn't want to give him back, but I think they had injury troubles too. However, when in every game Putman's played in, I think it took him a little while to get started, because he only really had like 10 minutes or so at Maidstone and Dorking or whatever, and you didn't really see much of him. But in every game he's played, he is actually someone I'd maybe just about say is Football League level at this point. And that's why I see a lot more potential in him to make it big than I would have done maybe Jake Tabor when he was on loan for us.
Exactly. And we all felt, I think we can all agree, like when Tabor was in first, we thought like, this guy comes from Swindon, comes from the EFL team. We're going to see how he does. And again, it did take him time to adjust, but I made the mistake of falling in love with Jake. I just thought, I made the, and you don't. That's the first rule. A lone player you don't fall in love with, but it's hard, because we bring in some great players from, like, you bring in players from City, you bring in players from Rovers, you bring in players from Swindon Town, and then again from other players in the same league like Torquay as well. And then we see how they perform for us, and you can't help but go, this guy is just brilliant. And then it's the worst pain. It's the worst pain in the world when they have to go back and away. How could you? How could you go? But I do just want to really quickly go on to the point that this has been not just a crucial win just for us to stay out of the relegation zone, but also a crucial win for our history against Torquay as well. So in the last 5 head-to-head, gee, what's wrong with me?
They're easy to confuse. They're both always in it for promotion and both always bottle it. So
you saved me there. But on our last head-to-head ones with Worthing, there you go. It has been so we've had 3 losses and 2 ties. So back in 2023, it was a 2-0 loss, and then it was a 2-2 tie, and then you had another 2-0 loss, and then you had a 2-1 loss, and then you had a 1-1 tie, which was our first one of the away season. So for this being a 3-1 win was a real shift away. It was a 3-1 win for us.
3-2.
3-2. 3-2.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? I'm getting the stats.
There was a.
Oh, it's my first time doing it.
Again, it is common to confuse the fact that Worthing did score a last goal, because there was basically no celebration from their end when that second goal went in.
It was. I mean, I do genuinely think that. I mean, when we were there, the away lot weren't too bad. In all fairness, seeing as they were stood in like the bit where there's no roof. I thought they were genuinely really strong. And I did
hear there was a bit of trouble though in the first half.
The ones who stayed were
the ones who stayed were good, but I did hear that in the first half apparently there were 2 younger fans of Worthing that were kicked out the stadium and tried to climb over the toilets to get back in.
Oh. Well, that doesn't surprise me, to be honest. After the experience me and Oscar had it, nothing that the year 7s do surprises me. But they were very strong, and they did. I mean, fair enough to them, because it's a long journey from there, from like around Brightonish area. It's
Yeah, we did it at the start of the season. It was like, wasn't it a 6-hour round trip there and back?
Yeah,
6 hours there and back on the train.
It was tough, but I mean, and to see them coming that far, I thought, you know what, fair play to you lot, and then. And again, a 3-2 win. It was something that I wasn't expecting. I spoke to Chef Matt when we were there, and
Chef Chris.
Jeez, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I keep. Oh my god, I'm gonna start calling you Keith in a minute.
It is funny because there is a chef who we work with called Matt as well.
Yes.
So,
oh my god.
You're like getting the facts right, but not quite.
Right. I'm on the same road, but I'm not on the right side of the road. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I spoke to Chef, and he was there, and he thought, I thought we were gonna lose 4-0. And then it was like end of the first half, and it was just like, I thought we were going to lose 2. So this, us getting this far, I think that's just a shocker. But it was like, we're going to win 5-0. I'm like, don't you bleed and jinx it, mate? Don't you?
Well, I certainly had a bit of nerves, I guess, when we were 2-0 up, obviously in the first half, and then they got 1 back, and then I was a bit sort of, what's going to happen now? Because it's 2-1. When Worthing played Chippenham recently, Chippenham were 2-0 up at Worthing's ground, and Worthing scored and then scored again very late on to salvage a point 2-2. I think me and Joe both thought this. We were like, yeah, I think now we've conceded, I've not got a good feeling about this. Obviously, we go and score another one. And after scoring that one, I've got this stat here. Bath City, when taking a 2-goal lead in the National League South, and this is since December the 2nd, 2023, and I think that was against Chelmsford, where we were 2-0 up and then lost 3-2. We have won 19, drawn none, lost none. So when Bath City have taken a 2-goal lead, 19 wins, meaning that obviously Slough has already taken place at this point, but if we do win against Slough, tomorrow, by the time we're filming this podcast, it would be the 20th straight win when we have taken a 2-goal lead and seen it out. So I think while it was certainly very tense, I had that sort of stat in the back of my mind that I know that because the defence that we've got, Parcell, Batten, Greenslade, Rains, they were all also in the team at that date and have been in the team since then. It's almost like there's a sort of quality that they all have together just to see out games and not throw them away when they've got it, and they did very well.
Very defensively resolute, but then at the same time, I think a lot of that is to do with the tactics.
Yeah. Darren's tactics are very good as well. Like defensively, like I always know that under Darren Way, a lot of the wins that he's had have been 2-0 wins at home, and then when he's got that second goal, like usually in the second half, I'm relaxed now. Obviously, it was a little bit different at Worthing because they did get 1 back, but then we responded to that by scoring a 3rd goal, and then saw it.
But you can agree, like in the last, like near the end of the second half, Worthing were really, really, really trying. Like I thought 2-0 up, we're gonna cruise through this, and then we can see. And I'm like, okay, it's tough. They want this. They still want this. They're still in this. And then Will scores. I'm like, oh, sorted. Put the game to bed. And then we score a second one. I'm like, I swear to if we bottle this from here, but we didn't, and it was made, but. Worthing really looked strong near this. In like the last 10-15 minutes, I saw Worthing were making some really good runs. They were really going for us, and I was fearing for my life.
I think the quality of their squad really showed.
It does,
point, whereas we looked like we were getting a bit bit tired.
Exactly.
Which is fair enough because, like,
Well, yeah, one of us is a part-time team, one of us is
Yeah.
full-time. That's always the case. I think whenever you see Bath get tired in the second half, it's not necessarily because our players lack stamina. It's because we are still one of the only part-time teams left in the league, and we don't train, day in, day out. We've got maybe one, or if that, like maybe 2 training sessions a week to prepare us for keeping stamina and that.
I thought we were also working really hard. Like you had Bowman, Russ, and Tilson in the middle, who were just on top of them the entire game and running, and it's like, that's going to tire you out over the course of 90
I thought
minutes.
Russ was excellent, to be fair. I think Russ is really. I think with him, he's like when he's on top of his game, he's on top of his game. There are times where I think maybe him and Tilson sort of lack that partnership a little bit, and we kind of want to push that a little bit more. But when they have that extra midfielder like Bowman, it's almost like the link is created between the 3 of them. And like they perform so much better in the midfield when they've got that extra midfield man with them. I think that's what they sort of miss sometimes.
I mean, it's again. I think we can all just summarize. This was genuinely. I think so far this has been one of the highlights of the season. We can say.
I do think it probably is our game of the season for how good the performance was. Obviously, like Hampton and Richmond and Dorking for the drama and everything, because it was like a win on penalty shootouts and a 90th minute screamer. But in terms of how good the overall performance was, they were top of the league before we played them. Obviously, they've had a lot of injuries, but we had a lot of injuries too. Like Ash and Windsor both out, no strikers. And so, both ways, like teams were struggling here, and everything was just done very well. And like, I think it's also confidence is a key thing as well, because if you think about the goals we got, a penalty. I think we'll get into the penalty decision a little bit later, because I think it's only fair that we do look at it from a sort of other perspective too, because we always look at poor decisions given against us. It's good to also focus on poor decision maybe given for us. And obviously the goal that Bowman scored, very well done to Bowman for his first goal, but of course a mistake at the back. And while they were both maybe slightly lucky goals to get, having scored those 2 goals, we were playing with so much more confidence. And I think that's all they really need. Once they get a goal, they're a completely different team. But when they're struggling for a goal all game, they don't really have that same fire and energy that they would have if they had took a 1-goal lead or a 2-goal lead.
It's not just in the game as well, but I think this result can potentially act as a sort of catalyst.
Yeah,
because we've been talking about potentially being dragged into a relegation battle, something of a 6-pointer on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, by the time this is out, we would have known what that 6-pointer on Tuesday is. So,
but we can use this, really, can't we?
This is motivation.
We can go up against the people at the top of the league who are looking for promotion, and we can beat them. And if we can do that, we can beat any team in the league.
Yeah, exactly. And it is National League South. Anyone can beat anyone. Like, I don't think anybody was expecting Hornchurch, for example, to be in the top 3 this season, having them only come up into this league last season. They only had last season, and they were in a relegation battle for a lot of last season, and they managed to climb themselves all the way up to 8th, and now they're in the top 3. Anything can change just like that. And I mean, sure, it's quite an ambition to somehow climb our way up into the promotion race after this, but it's not impossible.
It's really not. But again, we've said this before on a recent episode, Oscar. It is all about mentality. You can talk about skills. You can talk about like how many goals someone scored or what happens in a game, or like who is the better team. It all comes down to how much do you want to do this, and how much are you willing to get to be where you are in the league. Do you want to crawl out the relegation zone? Do you want to just go, well, we're here now? No, it's all about how you are as a team and what you're thinking. Really.
You've got to die for 3 points.
Yeah. You got to die for those 3 points, boy.
One final thing I want to mention, and it's only fair that we do this because we always look when a bad decision goes against us. The penalty that obviously was given against Jordan Alves, perhaps a push, maybe slightly outside the box. Referee gave it inside the box. I did look over the video footage of this, and I think I know why the referee makes this decision. Okay. It's because the foul is made, right? It certainly looks outside the box when it's first made. The referee has looked at the markings on the floor, and when you look at the markings on the floor, there's one marking where the foul's made, which is on the edge of the box, and there's one marking where Alves lands, which is inside the box. So the referee, you can see him in the video, he points at the marking and he points at the one that's in the box, which is where Alves has landed, and he's then pointing to the spot. So I can understand why he's made the decision. He's based the decision off the markings on the floor of the pitch, but there was, of course, another marking outside the box, and that was the actual marking where the foul was made. Yeah. So I can understand why he's made that decision, but I can also understand, why Worthing are unhappy about it, because I think Bath fans thought it was outside the box. Worthing fans thought it was outside the box. It's not. You can't really say that the referee. You can't really say that ruined the sort of game in Worthing's favour as such, because we've had games ruined in our favour before as well. So it's just how it works in the league. And I think before now, it always felt that the bad luck was always against us. The ref decisions were always against us. Now that we've had another referee decision that has gone our way, it kind of it opens your eyes a bit more to the fact that, refs do make mistakes, and sometimes it's going to be for your team, sometimes it's going to be against your team. But another interesting fact that I found out is that the referee, Scott Simpson, has refereed Worthing earlier this season, and it was away at Maidenhead. And in that game, apparently Worthing had 2 penalty shouts, which I did see over video once on TikTok. I didn't manage to get them back, but they had 2 penalty shouts that did look fairly obvious. So I guess Worthing fans have maybe a claim that this referee, after having a terrible game for them at Maidstone, has now made another poor decision against us.
Maybe. That's what I was thinking. Maybe, but I mean, when we were there, when I saw this decision being made, I was on the front by where the roof bit is. I don't know what we're going to call that bit or what it's called. But anyways, we were standing there by the front, and I was there, and I was thinking, oh, he's gone down. Oh, yeah, I think that was just outside. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, you saw the whistle. I was like, oh, he's giving it as a free kick. And then you thought, okay, well they're lining up.
I think everyone thought it was given as a free kick.
Everyone thought that, and then I saw the players in the box, and I thought, all right, they're lining up. And then all of a sudden, it was just I saw Will with the ball. I'm like, is he giving a penalty?
Well, you see, at first, I didn't even know that he'd given a penalty. So what happened was he pointed. I was like, oh yeah, free kick, fair enough. And then my attention drifts off for a brief moment. I hear everyone around me cheering, and then I look up and be like, has he been sent off for that? But it wasn't a red card, it was a penalty. And I was like, I was confused because I didn't actually see him point to the spot. I heard everyone cheer. I saw him get a yellow card, and then I asked the guy next to me what happened. It was like, he's given that as a penalty somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow is the key word there.
Exactly.
I think we can agree it was a foul, though. We can definitely agree it was a foul.
Yeah.
So it's not like Alves has gone and toppled over and dived into the box.
No.
And if the referee has given a bad decision, what can we really do about it? It's worked in our favour. We're happy. We've had so many decisions that have gone against us this season, and that's one of the mere few that worked in our favour in that game.
It's just really a simple mistake. Perhaps one the linesman should be helping out with.
Maybe. I mean, he did help out with the decision that happened earlier. I think there was a decision where when Harvey Wiles-Richards was taken out, and originally the ref didn't see it, and then after everyone was all like, ref, that's when he stopped it, turned around, spoke to the lino, and the lino said, yeah, he was tackled after he then shot the ball. He was fouled in the box, and then that's when he gave out the yellow card. But he also did give out a yellow card to number 34, Ruben Shepherd, for diving. I don't know if it was for diving or maybe
I think simulation. Yeah. I think when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, it was probably a foul. But then you see it again, it kind of looks like he froze himself before the contact. So I can understand that.
Yeah, so yellow for diving. But he did. I do want to say this has not been. I mean, because I have seen some really, really terrible refereeing decisions, but I don't think they were all that bad. I mean, maybe the one with the penalty from Jordan Alves might have been missing. Obviously, you don't have the assistance of VAR. You can only rely on your other referees, and you can only rely on the linos. But I don't think this was the worst decision.
Well, as I said, he based it on the markings on the pitch, because he saw the one outside the box, and then he saw the one inside the box, because you can literally see him in the video. He's pointing at the markings. And then after he sees the marking inside the box, he's like, yep, penalty. So I guess you've also got the argument of maybe the foul continued inside the box. Like maybe there was a clip outside the box, and then maybe there was a little bit of a tug as well going inside the box. I guess I'll have to see it again, but I've seen it several times, and I'm still sort of on the fence. I think I'm slightly leaning towards it wasn't a penalty, but that takes nothing away from the performance.
I'm not whinging it. It's assisted us with
exactly. Yeah, I think it's only fair for us, for any Worthing fans that may be listening to this, that we do bring it up on their behalf, because we always complain about referee decisions that go against us. So it's good to be good journalists and not look at one side of the bias.
Yeah, exactly. So you do, and again, And again, I've said it before and I've said it again. This was still an amazing game either way.
Yeah,
Of course.
exactly.
Still a brilliant game.
Like referee decisions didn't change it. It may have changed it for Worthing, but we're not Worthing fans, so we don't care.
No, exactly.
Don't say it. Anything else that we want to say? Or?
So, are we looking forward to the upcoming game then, boys? What are we thinking of for that?
I don't think we'll get into that because obviously this game this podcast is being filmed before the Slough game,
right?
But we will obviously like cover that maybe in a future podcast, depending on how much of a crazy game it is. But obviously Slough was quite a crazy game in the away fixture, a 3-2 win.
Yep.
Took a 3-1 lead and went 3-2 again, kind of a bit like the Worthing game in a way. But yeah, that was quite a feisty one, and obviously it's quite a big game in the sort of lower half battle. So I think a win against Slough will certainly be helpful for us to push our performance up. But obviously that game's happened at the time we were recording this. So whether or not we did win or whether or not we lost, everyone listening knows. But yeah, I mean, thank you very much for tuning into episode 10 of the Romans podcast. Joe, very great to have you back.
I've enjoyed it, yeah.
He's finally here.
Yeah.
After so
and
long.
Ollie, as always.
Yep, I'm
thank
here
you very
again.
much.
I'm here again. You're not getting rid of me that quickly.
Always. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much and goodbye.